What is the sitches, my bitches? This is Mean Dean from the KliqPodcast, coming back to you with Mean Dean's A through Z pay-per-view review. On the last pay-per-view review, we discussed Battle Bowl 1993 WCW. We're making a complete switch in the different directions, still keep it in the 90s, WWE Backlash 1999. Super hyped for this pay-per-view, for one reason only. Stone Cold versus The Rock for the WWE Championship. That sold me 100% because I know what it was before. Man, I even sat there I didn't even take notes till the end. I had to sit there and watch it and enjoy it for what it was. So we're going to get into this. Before I get into this, don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on Podomatic. We have our WrestleMania Live pre-show, April 8th, 2 p.m. Eastern. We are on Patreon. We are on Stitcher. We are on iTunes, Podomatic. We are everywhere. Go give us a shout. We appreciate that. We love you, KliqPod fam. Match number 1, WWE Backlash, The Brood versus the Acolytes in Midian. If anybody remembers The Brood, first of all, one of the best entrance musics of all time, right? That would be Gangrel, Edge, and Christian. Some of the greatest talent in the world, minus Gangrel. And then the Acolytes, or would they become APA, Ron Simmons, JBL, John Bradshaw, and then Midian. So Midian was basically like the fifth wheel out, essentially. He just didn't need to be there, period. This is around the time where they're doing their ministry thing. So it was the ministry, the Undertaker's running it, yada, yada, yada. Shane McMahon was running the ministry from afar, and we'll get into that. Pretty slow match to the build-up prior to this match. Honestly, it was a lot of sacrificial stuff. You know how the ministry did it. You know how the Brood did it. A lot of blood drinking. A lot of putting people on crosses. That's the 90s for you in WWE. And looking back, honestly, I never would have thought that Edge would have been a Hall of Famer just based off of what he was doing, because he wasn't really putting on these crazy 5-star matches. It was more so just being Edge and being a part of the group. Sorry, Edge. I'm glad you're a Hall of Famer. I think you are. Bar none now. Viscera comes out. Viscera, he also used to be King Mabel at one point, facing The Undertaker. It was pretty awesome, actually. But Viscera came out, interfered. He's the new ministry guy. The winner, Acolytes and Midian. Not an amazing match right off the bat. However, this is how these things start. Bear with me. I did notice, though, in the background that a fan had a sign that says, Nicole Bass is my father. And I immediately wrote, too soon? Hope not. Not you, Nicole Bass. Match number 2, Bob Holly versus Al Snow for the Hardcore title. They have done this a couple times. One time it was, if I'm not mistaken, in Mobile, where Bob Holly's from, or it could be Backlash was in Mobile. Not entirely sure. And I kind of miss when the Hardcore title was defended 24/7. The reason why is because it created some of the most entertaining moments, period. You kind of had to be on the fly for these things. And that's what, it was almost innovative, and it was saying, okay, we basically can give you content anywhere at any time. That's what they're saying. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, yeah, absolutely. That totally makes sense to me. Because now I'm not going to be waiting for it or being advertised for it. It's just going to show up. That was part of it. You advertise the big matches, and you really sell these small matches. Holly basically used everything to hit Al Snow with. He used crates, he used trash cans, he used table parts, he used mats, he used everything, basically. Al Snow did this like pop-up moonsault from the barricade. He looked like RVD. I was like, God damn, Al Snow. I was like, I'm not a huge Al Snow fan, both personally and professionally, but that was pretty cool. You know, they're fighting all over the arena. They're just hard-hitting. I mean, a lot of these are hard-hitting, especially with Bob Holly involved. And really, there's a great chemistry between him and Al Snow. And at the end, Snow covers Holly with Head. I don't know if you guys have ever heard Al Snow's entrance music. He says, what does everybody want? And people chant, Head, like a blowjob. And he comes out with a fake head. He covered Bob Holly with the head. All of a sudden, Al Snow is the new hardcore champion. So not only was that entertaining, It was a pretty brutal match. It was pretty hardcore. I really enjoyed it. Match number 3, Goldust versus The Godfather for the IC title. It took The Godfather like 10 fucking minutes to get to the ring. And cut his thing at the start of the match. It was kind of unnerving and just frustrating. I love The Godfather, but the hose thing is over. Let the train pass, and let's move on. On paper, the match isn't great, but it really has been an entertaining match, really, when you watch it. And the exchanges so far between the two are great as well. They're just two different characters, and I think that really helped their in-ring performance. And one thing you don't ever really see anymore is when somebody throws like powder in an opponent's eyes. Did that with Goldust. Thought that was kind of cool. Blue Meanie's there. Goldust starts beating up the Blue Meanie, who was there to support him anyway. But Godfather's finisher, one of my favorite moves of all time, the Death Valley Driver, or DVD. Tommy Dreamer uses it too. They stopped calling it the DVD because clearly there are discs with movies out there. Godfather still IC champ. Moving on to the next match. Match number 4, the New Age Outlaws versus Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart. There was nothing really on the line here, other than it just being a match between those two. Road Dogg came out, did his thing, talked on the mic, and before the match basically asked to see Deborah's titties. 1999. I literally have to give you guys years as ways to express my feelings about how these things happen. So for Battleground, I'll say 2009. That's because 2009 was a bullshit year for wrestling. I mean, let's just be real. For crazy, inappropriate bullshit, that would be 1999. Holler back. Whoop, there it is. And no one's really coming up with the advantage in the match. I mean, the match was just kind of based off of like, okay, we had a small story, we're bringing it in. Let's hope the match carries it. Didn't really carry it. But they did announce towards the end that this was a number 1 contender match. New Age Outlaws won. They are the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. So apparently prior to the match, nothing was on the line. At the end of the match, number 1 contenders. So that was the match. At the end of the match, Billy Gunn just showed his ass. And while Road Dogg basically popped and locked. 1999, people. They also showed out in the crowd that they had the blimps and shit, like flying, like floating around over in the crowd. They used to do that for basketball games and wrestling and all that stuff. I kind of miss that because it was a way to advertise. It was also fun. The fans got into it, like, oh, look at the fucking blimp. Match number 5, Big Show versus Mankind in a Boiler Room Brawl. Now, if there was no Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock match on this pay-per-view, this would be the best match of the night. It was brutal as fuck. Alright, it was Boiler Room Brawl. The point of the Boiler Room Brawl is that you basically have to be able to leave the boiler room. That's how you win. Foley just immediately taking rough shots, getting thrown through pieces of wood, basically getting his fucking ass kicked. Period. I mean, taking some shots that he shouldn't take. I mean, this is all concrete, and he's just laying on his back and his head. Like, this is just what he does. Mankind smashed Show's face through a plate of glass. And if you ever see glass in wrestling and it shatter, it's typically sugar glass, or it's some sort of tempered glass to where it won't shatter and cut you, right? This was real glass, immediately. I could tell as soon as the glass broke, it was real glass. They're just panes of glass sitting around that they would hit each other with. And Foley cut his fucking hand open wide. Like, he literally bled the entire match. He did it halfway through the match and bled just the same as when he first cut it that he did when he ended the match. It was insane. It was disgusting, and you could tell he was favoring it. Choke slam through the glass and tables. So there's some panes of glass on the tables. Show put him through that. And there's just such a high level of brutality. I mean, I know that's Mick Foley's name. He's got his name all over that. And some people don't agree with the hardcore lifestyle of wrestling. Some people don't agree with the traditional lifestyle of wrestling. But this was just an over-the-brute match. Insane. Hard to believe unless you just sit there and watch it all the way through. But there was a visual at the end as Mick Foley, Mankind, was crawling out of the boiler room. Every time he put that hand down that he got cut, a fresh bloody handprint, like almost as if you were putting it down as a movie, was just appearing. And he smeared his blood on the wall as he walked out. It was incredible. Shortly after that, and this was maybe after the following match, Show was back there and the doctor was looking at him. He required stitches in his head, and he also dislocated his thumb or his index finger, and it was swollen. It was like, it looked like there's pus pot, like a giant pus pocket over it. It was crazy. Should just show you the level of brutality just with that. Match number 6, Triple H versus X-Pac. Now they're touting this to be like the big, Triple H is coming up, X-Pac is going to be the underdog. 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Razor Ramon. Go. This is going to be the best match of the night. And it really wasn't. It was a good match from like a understanding level, let's fight type of level. But it just wasn't like the match that they were touting it to be. Pac looked like he basically landed on his head after performing a back body drop. And he looked like he was kind of out the rest of the match, really. It just wasn't that great of a match. There's a lot of back and forth. It wasn't terrible. It's not a terrible match. It's just not what they said it was going to be. So you create those expectations, and then they're gone. WWE. We could go all day here, 1999. Kane comes out to destroy Triple H because at that time, Kane was tag teaming with X-Pac, which was a good tag team. It was decent. And then a Bronco Buster. But Triple H got that reversed. Pedigree. H is a winner. H is moving up in the world. Far past the curtain call. Congratulations, H. You fucked somebody and now you're a CFO, COO, CEO, whatever you are. Match number 7, Ken Shamrock versus The Undertaker. I was really hoping for this one also to be a good one. I actually have high praise for Ken Shamrock being able to come from the MMA world to the wrestling world and really hold his own, win championships. And Taker's a great guy to be in there with. He's going to really dictate the match, show you how it's done. I think that would be a recipe for a great match. Unfortunately, it was a very slow, submission-heavy match. And it was just uber disappointing. It just sucked. I was really looking forward to a great match, and it just really wasn't. People were booing. It's just a Taker match. People were booing. That should show you something. Hebner botches a pin. JR said the shoulders went up, but they totally did not go up. Winner, who else would it be? Taker, right? Of course it's Taker. Ministry Taker. Match number 8, and very, very clearly, the last match of the night, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock for the WWE title, with Shane McMahon refereeing. So hyped for this match. As soon as I knew I was going to be reviewing this one sooner than later, it's great to get to like WrestleMania 17, Rock vs. Stone Cold, or begrudgingly Starrcade 97, Sting vs. Hogan, or you know what I mean. It just gets me so hyped up, and I just get really into it. Already, they're already up the stage. I mean, they fought a little bit. Their chemistry is great to start off with. They're already up on the stage, working with the props. They're basically using everything. Rock's throwing Austin to stage props. And then he threw Austin to the actual stage prop that's held up where the wrestlers walk in. So it was just a big cage thing. The whole thing fell over. Then reverse it, Stone Cold uses that same other side of the same prop set to throw Rock through. Both using just cables and boxes and guardrails, just throwing each other into everything. They get back to the ringside. Rock starts clearing off the table. Rock bottom through the Spanish announce table on Stone Cold. Great visual. Rock gets on commentary on the headset, as he always does, and this is one thing I love about The Rock. He also told the Spanish announce team that he'd make pinto beans out of their candy ass. That is how good The Rock is. Enjoy that. Rock puts Austin on the other table, which is the English table. Takes the actual camera that's filming them during this match. Gets up on the table with Austin, starts flipping Austin off while he's pointing the camera at him. Then he starts panning around to the crowd, looks back. Austin's immediately standing up and in frame, flips The Rock off, hits one of my favorite spots of all time, a Stone Cold Stunner on the table while Rock is holding an $80,000 camera. One of the coolest moments of all time. Probably the coolest moment in Backlash, period. Shane goes to hit Austin with the belt, and he misses. He tags The Rock. And then when Stone Cold gets over The Rock, Shane refuses to count the 3. So he basically just flips off Austin and says, fuck you, I'm not going to do it. Then Shane starts to leave. Vince starts walking out, tags Shane with the Smoking Skull belt. That was the other part of this, is that the Smoking Skull belt was stolen by The Rock. He went out to a bridge, made Stone Cold come after him, knocked him over into the water. It's just honestly one of the greatest build-ups of all time. Monster trucks and funerals, if that doesn't tell you anything about this story, then I don't know what will. Stunner, winner, Stone Cold Steve Austin, still WWE Champion. Amazing. It was an amazing match. If you're going to go back to any pay-per-view, Backlash 99 is a pay-per-view, and if you want to skip all the other bullshit, that's fine. Go straight to Rock Austin. Vince throws the belt to Stone Cold. They think it's over. Stephanie's in the limo. She's just being introduced into the world of wrestling. Stephanie McMahon's in the limousine as a young pre-adult or adult post, whatever you want to call it. And she's basically hiding from the ministry. They start to come out into the back, and all the cops are like, go, drive away. Guess who's driving the fucking car? Undertaker's driving the car. Of course they got Stephanie. And if you haven't seen how this goes down, it's amazing. WWE Network, go check it out. Or just keep listening to your boy Mean Dean on the KliqPodcast. We'll get to it. That is it for me. WWE Backlash 1999. Go check my man JG out on YouTube. Check us out on Patreon, iTunes, Podomatic, Stitcher, everywhere. KliqPodcast is out.